live at Onigashima. I'm Anthony.
And I'm Jimmy, and today we have chapter 1099, Pacifist. And honestly, we're getting really close to 1100, and there's always some big shit that happens around this.
We're getting the big century mark, the big 100 mark. But we got huge lore dump in this chapter. I think a lot of us felt a lot of this coming, but it's just kind of
I feel like a lot of this was pretty explanatory. Like, we knew Kuma had to become the tyrant, and based off what was happening last chapter, we kind of called this. He was just gonna get blamed for what wasn't his fault, and then he went and sought out Vegapunk so he could get Bonnie cured. One thing I did want to bring up though is I thought one, Bonnie's fruit was gonna help her cure her disease, and two, I thought it was gonna be more extravagant of how she got her fruit.
Yeah, that's a big question of this chapter, is how did Bonnie get her fruit? It explicitly makes it a mystery, right? So is it that she got it? I doubt she ate it as a baby, right? In Mary Joie. If she
Probably not. I feel like she would have accidentally used it at that point if she did. I feel like it definitely was at least a somewhat recent thing. But I'm curious as to how it appeared, because
I feel like that's setting up an extra storyline for Bonnie. So beyond Egghead, that I don't think that Bonnie's done here. This is the setup chapter, but then she's gonna have another goal or another thing to do. I don't know. I think there's more to reveal about Bonnie than just, even though we've learned so much at this point.
And the thing is, Bonnie doesn't really have anywhere to go after Egghead. Her crew is not really an actual crew that she could go back to. Her dad is probably gonna die here, so she's not gonna have that purpose. It makes sense for her to at least team up with them for a while.
You still think
she's
gonna
the
die?
New law. I still think Kuma's gonna die.
Yeah, me too.
He just has death flags all over.
Yeah, I mean, he's already dead. A lot of people are saying, so there's a whole thing now that we know kind of how Vegapunk and him that interaction went. There's a lot of questions about Vegapunk's the memories that he kept. What was his plan with it? Was he going to give Kuma back his memories at some point? Or was it really an accident that Bonnie saw all those?
So I think it was an accident that Bonnie saw them. What I think could happen is that Vegapunk could basically use these memories and somehow put them back into the pacifistas. So it's there's basically all of the pacifistas have
all of them
instead
become
of Bonnie,
Kuma
even though she loses one dad, she has hundreds of them.
No way, bro. That's so weird. That'd be so weird if they were all actually full conscious Kuma.
Yeah, and they could even know that they're pacifistas, so they don't have that problem Twice has in My Hero.
That'd be kind of nuts, honestly. But I guess, what do you think is gonna happen with the pacifista from here? Are we gonna see them all get destroyed? Do you think we're gonna see them in the final war, or are the Seraphim gonna kind of take that place? Because they're making
that's what I feel like. I feel the pacifista, they feel kind of outdated to me right now. I don't feel the threat of them ever since post time skip. The Seraphim are what's strong, but the world government does just need kind of numbers. So I don't know. Although I did want to bring up, and the one obvious thing about this chapter, which is what we kind of assumed, is the naming of the pacifista. It just, goddamn, it just hits even harder.
It's just we know that it was probably an ironic thing, oh, pacifista, even though they're war machines. That's crazy. I want, especially we've seen Kuma be so nice over the whole course of the story.
He said it in the show. He's I'm a pacifist, so that would be great.
Yeah, he said it right here. So, yeah.
But we know it's gonna get corrupted by Saturn soon. And one of the things that I saw Kuma, or I guess that I wanted to point out, is Kuma's oh yeah, I'd gladly sacrifice myself to the devil, or I'd gladly do anything to cure Bonnie. And I'm pretty sure that's exactly foreshadowing for what's about to happen. The only thing we haven't seen from this flashback yet is him turning into a cyborg. And if Vegapunk's already
mindless cyborg, yeah. If it's gonna go from this, it's gonna go from the cyborg thing, and then probably Saturn's gonna swoop in and be
yeah,
I got you, Bonnie.
Well, and he doesn't necessarily need to turn him into a cyborg to save Bonnie. He just needs his blood. So there has to be something else of why he's actually turning him into a weapon.
Yeah. That's why I think Saturn's gonna swoop down and take advantage now. Maybe this transitions also into how Kuma becomes a warlord. maybe
Yeah.
his position is offered to him by
That's the
Saturn.
other thing we still need to see.
Maybe his position is offered to him by Saturn when he swoops down and is like, "Hey, heard your conversation. I know that you're that kid that I saw on God Valley. You're, either you die or, you're pretty strong at this point. Like, you're probably useful. Vegapunk clearly thinks you're useful, and he's been doing a lot of good for us. So why don't you become a warlord? Be the most obedient warlord for us because
The only one that listens to that.
right, because we got your child. But we'll let her go in the case. But I don't think it's like they're gonna capture Bonnie and let her go. I think it's gonna be that something with the sapphire scales. Like, I think there definitely is a connection that needs to be dropped about Saturn and like the sapphire scales, because like we've heard at this point that like a lot of people have said it. I think we said it at some point, but that each of the planets like have a gem associated with them, and Saturn's is sapphire, so like it's a connection to where, like, because people think he's an Ushioni and they can inflict diseases, that he like inflicted this disease on Ginny and Bonnie.
And I still think that could be true, which is probably why we're getting this connection now with all of this. But I'm curious why Vegapunk was so like, oh, like, I know he's the smartest person. He's like, oh yeah, that's easy to cure. Like, how did everyone else think it was completely incurable? But to him, he's like, oh yeah, I just need like money. Like, I wonder what the process is gonna be to like
or
actually cure her.
or his cure involves bringing Saturn down and curing her.
So
and
I
him
actually
making
kind of
the-
wanted to bring this up because I don't know if you still feel it, but I still like, I don't know if I fully trust Vegapunk.
Yeah,
still.
evil Vegapunk for
Like,
sure. I want
He
to talk
still
about
has
this.
these like things about him, like he's like, oh look, I can cure this easily, but hey, look, it's gonna be kind of
gonna be a
expensive.
little
Why
money.
don't you give me your blood and stuff? Like, we'll call it even.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like he's the smartest man. It's not like he doesn't know what the world government's
And,
gonna do
you
with
know,
this technology.
I think that there was a line that Kuma said that was just like a little bit too on the nose for me, and I think it was a red flag for a lot of people. But he was like, I trust dragons, so like, I don't know exactly what he said, but he was like, wow, he was
If
right.
dragon trusts you, I trust, like-
do like, I don't know what he said except for the fact that like, oh my god, my soldiers are gonna be awesome and have like, they're gonna be able to take down the bad guys, ha ha ha. And then Kuma was like, oh well, I guess you are the most trustworthy guy. And then
Yeah.
you just seem good. Like, Dragon was right about you. Like, that's one good
I mean,
thing.
there's even
Like,
a
Kuma's a
panel
little
there where,
naive.
like-
I think that's gonna come back to show us that Vegapunk is nefarious.
There's even a panel where it shows like Vegapunk talking about like the potential of the warriors, and Kuma's like, he has like this like nervous look on his like but I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So, and the other thing I wanted to bring up here is we can see like this isn't that long ago. This is what, maybe like 2 years ago from the start of the time, or from the start of the story, and Vegapunk already had like, he doesn't split himself up into the stuff, like into the bodies yet. He still has that big ass brain and stuff,
Mhm.
so he hasn't created that whole network. So he still has like that evil part of him in him. Like,
Right,
York, the one
yeah.
that turned evil, is still in him. The literally evil part, Lilith, is still in him. So maybe we can see more of that here. And
Yeah.
maybe that's part of the reason why he also wanted to split himself up, to kind of take out some of those parts of himself.
I really do like this Vegapunk scene, yeah, because I think that we needed more of him to be revealed in this arc, and like, I feel like, it's gonna branch out before Egghead ends, and we're gonna like really see who Vegapunk is. Maybe he dies, maybe he doesn't, but we're gonna
I mean,
we're gonna
we've
figure
seen
it
it
out.
from the beginning of this arc too. Like, when we had that mini flashback with him and Dragon on Ohara, and Dragon's like, "Are you really gonna go follow the world government?" He's like, "Well, they got money. Like, I guess I have to." Like,
Right.
his morals aren't really in the right place. And same when Jinbei earlier, when Bigum was like, "Oh, I could basically create like an internet for everyone to access the information," and Jinbei's like, "Oh, doesn't that mean like all the bad people can use it for nefarious stuff?" And he's like, "Haha, who cares? Progress." So I don't really know if his morals are in the right place.
Yeah, me either. Well, one of the other things I wanted to talk about this chapter before we go, Dragon. So, Dragon, we also, Kuma. Another thing I wanted real quick about Kuma, we didn't get to see his bounty. Very sucks. That very like I
I wonder if it's the one they showed us way back when. I think it was like almost 300 mil or something.
Something like that. Yeah, maybe it was just that one.
I don't know
and
if
they
he started
froze
with
it.
that, if it got a little bit higher with time, but yeah, I wish they would have showed it here. I don't
Yeah.
see why it would have been harmful to show it here, honestly, but whatever.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, especially since we skipped forward so much afterwards.
Yeah.
But he ends up, he goes to all the islands that he had sent the Straw Hats to. So we see context for that, and then he runs into Dragon, who gives him this line, "Go where the winds of fate take you, my friend." Like, isn't it so?
Go where the quote unquote winds of fate.
Isn't it so like him beating it over your head at this point? Like, he's got to be like the Wind Logia, right?
Yeah, I feel like there's just too many things concluding to it. And actually, one thing that I saw that I wanted to talk about is a few like chapters ago. I forgot which Blackbeard pirate, but one of them was talking about the man marked by flames and how he had a black ship, and we can see that Dragon's ship is completely black. Also, we also know that that person had the power to create whirlpools. What if he does that by creating like tornadoes and bringing them into the water or something?
Do you think
like,
that?
I feel like Dragon has some more like legitimacy in the fact that he could be the man marked by flames.
It could
but I
be,
just don't
yeah.
know
I mean,
what those flames would be. Also, his connection to Sabo, who is literally the new Flame Emperor. So I don't know. Maybe there's something there. But
yeah, interesting. Do you think in that case, Dragon created the whirlpools for Luffy in Chapter 1 when he got trapped in the barrels and thought he was gonna get sucked into?
He was in East Blue.
You think he was?
Did later save him.
You think he's been looking over Luffy this whole time and he's not a bum?
He's actually just letting him have his adventure, but also just being a good parent and kind of being there.
Yeah, for sure. Well,
but I was just gonna say he didn't go for Jenny, he didn't go for Ivankov, he didn't go for Inazuma. He just lets everyone get caught.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of like Dragon defenders out there now, and like there's like Dragon's like this whole topic of debate at this point.
Honestly, as I meme him, like I do still kind of agree. Like he does have to kind of prioritize everything.
I mean, he better show up in like a big way, because like this is build up, man. Like this is like if all of this other shit's gonna happen, like Revolutionary Army got to perform in the final act for real. Like
and I think they will. I think they're
so
gonna. But I do think it's gonna be more off the back of Sabo rather than Dragon.
Yeah, true. Well, I mean, Dragon kind of needs these big feats though for like anybody to take him seriously.
I think we're gonna get more of that in the Dragon flashback. We'll see him like as a Marine fighting maybe some of the admirals. Maybe, who knows? He could have been on God Valley. We don't know. I don't think so, but he could have been.
Could have been. We'll see. Expectations for next chapter, I think, like, again, we get more of this flashback. I think maybe they could wrap it up in one, but probably two more chapters.
I know I said this last week, but 1.5 more chapters, I think, because we really just need to see him, like we said, turn into a cyborg essentially, and then become a warlord, and that might all happen kind of at the same time. So I think we get 1.5 more chapters, and I'm pretty excited for it.
Yeah, same. No break next week. That's the
no
best part.
Oh,
sorry, I spoiled the ending. Sorry. All right. Well, you guys heard it here first. No break next week.
You probably didn't hear it here first. You probably heard it somewhere else.
Well, all right. Spoiled the ending more. Why don't you? All right. You know what? Cut the camera. Cut the camera.
Cut the camera. Like, comment, subscribe.
Find us in the
next one. Peace.